G'day, folks. How are you? Hope you're having a nice Friday. Pretty cool sort of a Friday in my part of the world. I'm down the southern end of South Australia until tomorrow, heading back up into Adelaide, and then Sunday. Got a very big event happening in Adelaide, which we will talk more about a little later on. Say hello to a few people who are in the room. Who was in first tonight? Aussie Sue in the room for the first time tonight. First tonight. And Vince, I dare say, will be floating around in here at some stage, although he might be sleeping because he put in a huge day yesterday, can I just say? And it does take it out of him a little bit. So I do hope that he got a good night's sleep last night. And if not, he'll be getting a good night's sleep today, I would have thought. G'day, Chris. Good to see you in too. Daniel, yep. Hello, Pamela. Baz, Samantha, Terry. I don't know how much of a legend I am, Terry. Don't get too carried away, mate. I want to say hello to a lady named Susan who came up to me today. I have been approached a few times while being on the trip, but today the vehicle attracted enough attention for a lady to come up and ask me what the hell I was all about. And she's the first one to actually do that. So her name is Susan. She is very much on our side, I think. She is a helper, a worker in the community in this area. She was very interested to learn more about my place. She's already involved with helping families in this area. So I hope, Susan, you managed to find Voice of Freedom tonight and managed to join the crew and come in and join the chat. We have a wonderful family of people in here, and they will welcome you broadly, roundly, and warmly. So as we do for anybody, whether you've met me or not, you're more than welcome in the chat. Barbara's finding out how nice it is. She's been in here forever. Hello, Kath. Maria. Zippy's back in tonight too. Haven't seen you around for a while, Zippy, or maybe it's just because I'm not scanning fast enough. JJ, thank you for being back in again. Nice to see you. Billy, don't forget to swing past Harndorf. Yeah. I got to say, I have very fond memories of Harndorf. I mean, like, really fond memories. When I was a kid, we grew up in a place called Rapanyup, which is not far from Horsham. And it's on the Silo Trail these days. And we had a Millard caravan that was about 20 foot long, and Mum, Dad, and my sister used to jump in that. My sister and I used to think the trip to Adelaide was interminably long, like unbelievably, it was the world's worst ever thing. Where in reality, the trip was probably about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours at the most. But these days, I don't worry too much about kilometres and travel and hours and how long it takes. And Harndorf is a place we used to go regularly for holidays. In fact, we spent time in Adelaide at a couple of different places, Harndorf being, I suppose, the dominant one. We went there 2 or 3 times. We also went to the Fort Glanville Caravan Park for years. Probably 2 or 3 years in a row there for Christmas holidays, and had a wonderful time. Of course, right down where the Beaumont children were taken. Whole other story. We'll get into that at a different time. Evening too to Pete and Pinaroo, and good to see that you're back in the show again tonight. Redneck's in town. Jason's nice in J1. Good to have you back, mate. And the beautiful, wonderful Sunflower. Thank you for coming in again, joining us for another chat. Darren Bergwerf is in, spreading the word. Is the word yelling at me tonight, brother? I don't know. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Of course, Darren's on his way to Adelaide tomorrow, and Sunday we'll be at a big get-together, a big My Place get-together, which I'll be at, and so will Tim Dwyer. It's happening at Collins Reserve in Kidman Park in Adelaide, near Port Adelaide, and starts at 11 a.m. Vince is coming along for that one too. You might see a few other faces, and we'd love to see you there if you're in the Adelaide area or even in the vaguely close to Adelaide area. Why don't you come down 11 a.m. till whenever it finishes, and it will be a great day. Collins Reserve at Kidman Park, and it's very easy to find. I've even been able to dig it out myself, and yes, I can even park this beast here there apparently, so looking forward to that. Look forward to seeing you there. And Darren is coming over, I think, on the big silver bird with no propellers tomorrow afternoon or evening, so I'm sure we will catch up. Crazy times, good to have you in. Phil, Hello, buddy. Good to see you in too. Who else? Daniel's saying again. Hello, Maria, the other Maria. And yeah, all right. I think I've been through saying hello to everybody at this juncture. Hope you're all having a bloody good day. If you haven't got into a My Place yet, make sure you get into it. All right, you got to get into it real soon because well, there's big things planned, and more on that coming up in the future. I got to tell you, yesterday was an eye-opening day. I'm going to talk to you about our little hydrogen installation. Now, just sitting over here to my left, your right, is the hydrogen unit. If you didn't get to see the lives that we put out yesterday while it was being installed, because they only went out on the Nun 2K channel, so you might be watching on something else and don't realize that it's actually happened. So go to the Nun 2K YouTube channel if you wish, or go to Rumble. I've uploaded 3 videos there that we did on YouTube yesterday. So you can actually get a bit of understanding of what the hydrogen system that we installed yesterday is and what Tim's, well, Tim Dwyer is a legend on many levels, but engineering and inventing, he certainly is excelling at, and got to say he's pretty good on the Constitution too. So go and have a look at what he installed here yesterday. You might find that it's of great value to you. Now, I've only driven the vehicle not quite 200 kilometers, I suppose, since this happened. But some of that was freeway driving. Some of that was very, very hilly driving. And I've noticed already some significant changes in how the engine is performing. The first change that I noticed is it's running cooler. It's not as hot, not that it ran hot before, but it is running cooler, noticeably cooler. I was a bit surprised about that, but Tim wasn't. The power that it generates. So on petrol, there is certainly more power being generated in the low and mid-range gears. So I'm talking first, second, and third, particularly between sort of 60 and 80, 85 kilometers per hour. I'm noticing significant power increases and torque increases in that range on both LPG and petrol. So that's pretty good. Running on LPG, the vehicle seems quieter. It is running maybe 100 RPM lower than what it was normally. So generally in overdrive, if you like, while it's cruising along, this is an automatic. Generally, it'll run at about 2,300 RPM at about 90 kilometers an hour. So doing that yesterday, coming in through the north of Adelaide, it was, yeah, probably running 100 or so, less than that. But still really good, noticeable increases in torque, particularly. So power for going up hills and that kind of thing, yes, but I am still a reasonably heavy vehicle. And when you drive a vehicle of this size and you've got hills and whatnot to negotiate, there's really only so much you can do. And momentum plays a large role in being able to get up a hill at a reasonable speed. So if you lose that momentum, and I managed to yesterday, not sort of through a fault of my own, but there were roadworks in an area that normally would have been 80 kilometers an hour. It was down to 40 or 50 or 60. And then it immediately went into a very long, steep climb. And well, the old girl knew she was breathing all sorts of things then, I can tell you, because we were doing 44 kilometers an hour at 4,600 RPM in about second gear, and couldn't find a nice balance point to drop it into the top, or the third gear, not the top gear, but the third gear. And if you slowed down and dropped it to about 38, then it wanted to drop back to first gear and scream it over 5,000 RPM. So that was not ideal. So momentum plays a large role when you're traveling with a large vehicle and trying to get it up a hill. And unfortunately, that was probably the worst experience that I had. I did switch over to petrol to get me up that hill, but the damage was already done. It wasn't going to be able to accelerate 7 and a bit ton up the gradient we were trying to travel. So I don't think the system is going to help me, at least in that regard, but certainly it would in a lighter vehicle. Um, For diesel and particularly biodiesel users, you'll find massive increases. Biodiesel, of course, leaves a lot of shit in the pot. It doesn't burn the first time round, but with the hydrogen unit, which you can see in action in the third video, when we actually fire the thing up and start it running, you can see he pulls the pipe off the feeder pipe, the hydrogen feeder pipe that feeds into the air intake system, and put it into a bottle of water, and you can see the hydrogen working in there. Hydrogen is not dangerous. It could be dangerous. It can be dangerous. But if you do the right things with it, it's all good. And the system that is sitting, basically at my right hip while I'm driving is not pressured. So it's not going to explode. It's not going to blow up. It's not going to do anything like that. And the gas is not noxious. As you'll see in one of the videos, Tim inhales it quite deeply, no problems. He didn't fall over. I didn't need to wheel him out. It was all good. So he does give us some amazing facts about hydrogen, and the one that I found is that it likes to travel at 1,500 kilometers an hour. It likes to travel, full stop, go real hard, and it always wants to go up. So while this vehicle has a fair bit of up space in it, it also has a lot of air gaps in it, and I even suspect if some LPG or gas got in here, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. I think it would all be sucked out through the holes in the walls and the roof. But it is what it is. So if you are interested in checking out the hydrogen system for yourself, Tim is offering a deal to Voice of Freedom followers. It's a pretty good deal. Normally the price installed is $4,000. Now some people will go, oh my God. But if you do a lot of driving, you will save considerably. And this thing will pay for itself inside 12 months without a doubt. In our case, it'll probably pay for itself inside 3 months. Because of the huge amount of kilometers that we plan on doing. For an example, I've already done a bit over 3,000 kilometers to get where I am. So I'll at least be doing that on the way back. And I suggest there's a good chance I'll probably be doing at least 1,000 more on top of that before I get back. So I have to do a little bit of maintenance on the unit, but that maintenance is simply topping up the water. Now, it's demineralized water, which you can get from the supermarket in the ironing aisle. And this thing takes a little bit over a litre. And every 3,000 kilometres or so, my advice from Tim is to top up the water. So that's my plan. I'll give it a bit of a look in Melbourne when I get back there, and maybe in Canberra, and certainly by the time we get up into New South Wales and the central New South Wales coast, I think I will have put another 3,000 Ks on it well and truly by then. So we'll give it a look. But at the moment, I'm very happy with the way it's performing. And if you would like more information, the deal that Tim is giving is obviously a discount on that $4,000. Now, it's also an investment in your future cars, because this unit is 100% portable. 100% portable. When you sell the vehicle, you can take it out and install it in your next one. So it comes with you. Very, very, very useful indeed. So don't think of it as an investment that you're not going to see a return on when you try and trade in your vehicle. Rip this thing out and put it in the one you're going to go and get. It's good for, well, I don't know what the warranty time is on it for us. I was going to say it's good for a lifetime, but certainly should nothing fail, I can see no reason why you can't use it car after car after car after car. And Tim has used systems now on multiple vehicles for many years. So it's not a bad sort of an investment. You can email Tim directly through Voice of Freedom at h2@vofhq.com. h2@vofhq.com, or you can go and check out his website, which is h2fuelsave.com. h2fuelsave.com. And Tim Dwyer will be appearing on Sunday afternoon for a bit of a chat in Adelaide at Kidman Park when we get to Collins Reserve for the My Place Family Fun Day, Port Adelaide. Looking forward to it, although I think it's basically all my places from Adelaide. I think Mount Barker's coming down. I think Noarlunga's coming up. I think Gawler's coming down. There are a few others. I think Vince said to me the other day they'd rolled up 3 more in the last few days. So there's likely to be quite a reasonable crowd turning up. So 11 a.m. It's due to kick off, and look forward to seeing you there. Now, I did load up a couple of interesting things. I got an interesting email from a guy named Dave. Now, we've been talking about the bureaucracy and how bloody useless they are. And we haven't really touched on or alluded to how they screw us all around. But we've all experienced this. Now, if you happen to be unemployed or on a pension of some kind, or God help you, um, you require assistance, then you're likely going to be hounded into going to do some kind of course. And I know people who've been through many courses and found a lot of it quite disturbing to watch and participate in, because it's just dumbing down. I think Dave's been through one of those. Let's just have a bit of a look. He sent me this email. Fair dinkum, the shit people get paid for has become such a gravy train ride for spuds. It's ridiculous. I just had my day wasted doing a 2-day course in 1 day paid for by the taxpayer that my job network provider thought would be so beneficial to me. What a joke. A chemical safety and handling course that revolved around feed sprays and using a measuring cup to mix and measure liquid units per minute from a spray nozzle. I could barely keep myself awake through it, in which I got a card, a license, stating that I now know how to follow the bloody directions on the bottle and the owner's manual of a spray unit, and how to use a spill kit. Yip, yah. I don't know what these clowns get paid, but to open up an office for me and one other Gen Z numpty to sit around watching PowerPoints on glyphosate, and it still be worthwhile for 3 supervisors and 2 office girls to sit on their asses and contribute nothing to the world, is bureaucracy gone mad. Could not agree with you more, Dave. Could not agree with you more. Well, luckily, there does seem to be some sense in the world. Anastasia Falasuk has come to her senses and decided that she won't be pushing forward with the treaty through Queensland legislation. Yip-yah! However, in return for that, she also has managed to give paid leave to all the bureaucrats in the public service, 5 days of it, in fact, paid leave, because they're mourning the fact that they lost the vote. The yes vote died. I mean, seriously, people, God help us. How long can we keep feeding people like her? How long can we just keep accepting that quality of person to lead our states, to lead our country? Have any of us asked ourselves why we accept people like this? Is it, because we're died-on supporters of what our parents were? I don't think that's the case so much anymore, certainly not with the younger folks, and probably not from my generation down. But there's got to be something. Why is it we can't attract good people to be in these jobs? Is it because they're making more money outside somewhere else? I don't think that's the case. I think probably the good people are the ones who aren't making the money. The good people are the ones who are struggling. The good people are the ones who can't get a house to rent. The good people are the ones who can't get enough jobs to pay their ever-rising mortgage fee every month. The good people are the ones who don't get subsidized for the medication they need to stay alive, whereas some numpty can. The world is arse about face. It has to change. We have to change it. We are the catalyst for that change. We have to do it. Nobody else is going to step up. We might need support, and I think we will get that support. But we have to prove that we're going to not take this anymore. So how do we do that? How do we express our complete and utter dissatisfaction with those that try to rule us? Not try, succeed to rule over us. We have had enough. They rule over us at our pleasure. At our pleasure. We outnumber them. At the very least, that argument wins. But they only govern us by our consent. How do we withdraw our consent? Have you thought about that? How do we withdraw our consent to be governed by What we can demonstratively prove, I think, now as foreign corporations masquerading as government and using us, bleeding us dry in every sense of that word, financially, emotionally, and physically. Never in my life did I think I'd be having these sorts of conversations. Never in my life did I think I'd be talking to you. And now I find myself doing things that never in my life I thought I would be doing. With you, for you, together with you. But like you, I guess I struggle at times to find out or to find that next step. I believe that result, that referendum result, demonstrates to most clear thinking Australians that there is a very, very clear divide between one group of the Australian population and the rest. That group seems to be the elites, the ones that would call themselves the elites, the university educated types, the types that have been swallowing everything fed to them all their lives and never questioning. They're very good at making statements. They're very poor at asking questions. And they're extremely poor at using logic. But double degreed. We had a pure mathematician in here the other night extolling how bloody intelligent he was, and yet still couldn't figure it out. And that's sad. I feel for those sorts of people. And they're, unfortunately, the sorts of people that we might come up against going forward who don't believe that there's anything wrong. And if we, the people, decide that there is a way that we can show we no longer offer our consent to be governed by these people, they won't understand that. So, we're going to have to develop a strategy to help them understand what we're doing. So is there a strategy? Is there a way we can withdraw our consent to be governed by people who are clearly foreign-owned corporations bleeding us dry? Does anybody have any ideas? If you do, please email me, carl@vofhq.com. I do have some other meetings to have on this subject in the coming days. There are a number of people who are very interested in trying to progress this no vote popularity and press the fact that it is ostensibly the bureaucrats and the foreign-owned parliamentarians that we're fighting. I think there is some good news coming in the not too distant future, but we need to move on this quickly. We need to move in a timely manner, because if we were to wait until Easter, let's say, the momentum from this referendum will be lost. They will have created something else for us to worry about. Maybe a third world war with Israel and Iran kicking it all off. I don't believe we'll come to a third world war. I do think back to a lot of the intel that we've received over the last few years. Israel will be last. That was a big one. Israel will be last. What are we looking at? Well, we are looking at a war that could maybe end all wars. We're looking at such deception and such deceit, such global political power plays that certainly I don't believe anybody in my lifetime has seen. the machinations, the nuclear machinations that are being played out in the background. Russia is now patrolling the Black Sea using aircraft, the MiG-31, that can carry its hypersonic missile, capable of striking pretty well anywhere in Israel from the Black Sea. Also very well capable of striking anywhere in Gaza from the Black Sea, or Lebanon, or Syria, or Turkey. There's a number of places it could strike. Do we actually think Putin's going to kick off World War III? Absolutely not. I do not believe that at all. I think Biden and Netanyahu are going to kick off World War III. I think they are going to do something, whether it's blamed on the Ukraine, or blamed on Hezbollah, or blamed on Iran, or blamed on Hamas. Although if it's Hamas, I don't know what damage they're going to do with rocks. But that's where the war is going to start. It's the West that wants this war, right? But something else that we learnt from the intel years ago, and I think that Ricardo is saying at the moment, they have till the end of November. Now, we've been saying that, end of October, I beg your pardon. Now, we've been saying that for, well, I want to say over 2 years. Certainly over 12 months. It was meant to be October last year. Now it's been pushed to October this year. I want to say there was a pushback in the October before that in 2021, but I might be fractionally wrong there. But we have heard this before. We have seen it before. And until now, I don't think we've seen the other supporting parts coming into fit. So Israel will be last. They have until the end of October. And we are hearing, if you go and ask Google, or what's that bloody thing, Elisa, or whatever it's called, Alexis, she's going to tell you that Russia are going to fire a weapon into somewhere on November 23, 2023, and that will be the beginning of World War III as we know it. Don't believe it's going to happen. It will push us to a brink. Keep watching what's going on in America with Donald Trump. Keep watching what's going on with the Senate and the Congress in the US, and what happens with the Speaker's chair. And to be honest, that may have changed because I haven't seen anything about that in the last 2 days. I haven't had time to get into it. But I'm pretty confident that's going to play a key role, and I'm pretty confident Trump's going to play a key role in that too. Maybe sitting in the Speaker's chair. I'd only need to be in it for a day or 3, but he could do a great deal of damage / good for the world if he were in it. Sorry, Samantha, I'm just reading. Yeah, pay attention. That's a giveaway right there that they're up to something. They pull this shit every time they want to pass something. Yes, they do. And I'm probably well back in the chat. You're right. It's a left hand doing this while the right hand is touching you up, or robbing you, or slapping you blind, or beating you with a bloody huge stick. It is not. Well, it's just theatre. That's what the bastards are, and they're no good for us. We need to get rid of them. Yeah. Now, Lisa, that is probably a more true statement about politics in this country than politics in this country has had in years. The good ones don't get a chance because it's all rigged and run by crooks. If a good one does get in, and let's say for a minute that Babbitt is a good one, right? He gets in on the UAP ticket, becomes a senator. Now, he's been in one term and he's getting out. He doesn't want to be part of that filth anymore. He's seen enough of it. He's at it. He's been in it. He's swum in it, and he's out. Now, is that because he doesn't like the filth, or is that because he now knows that unless you become part of the filth, you can't get anything done? And I'm pretty confident that's what he's discovered, as many of the good politicians have, and they wind up leaving or being pushed out by the party. And Gerard Rennick would probably claim that he's one of those, being pushed out by his party because he now is unsupported and will lose his seat in the next election, and yet still wants to bleat from the sidelines that the freedom movement, he can't work with the freedom movement because, we won't think of a political solution. Well, we have, and there is a political solution. Ricardo Bozzi is the head of that political solution. It's called A1. Now, Ricardo has made no bones of the fact that it is a political solution that he offers. Whether it's a long-term political solution that he offers or not is unclear. It started out being a very short-term solution, as in a interim government period, where Australians would get the chance to have new free elections and elect whomever they chose to be involved in leading this country going forward. And if that meant that Ricardo or A1 became the party of choice, then I guess that's what it meant. But that was not his goal, and he's often stated that he has no desire to be the Prime Minister. I've got to say I have that desire too, but for probably different reasons. If he is to gain some sort of control, I think his early support, and to a stage, maybe at this stage, has been because of the assumed link between himself and the White Hats, or A1 and the White Hats. Now, whether there is or there isn't is neither here nor there. I believe Ricardo is working on a political solution for this nation. Do I believe a political solution under the current system is workable? Is any kind of a solution? No, I don't. But I do understand that we will need some political solution for the interim, and I'd support Ricardo in doing that. He would have a measure of respect through the military, a measure of respect through the public, and a measure of disrespect for those who couldn't care less about or got very angry at it. So I think he'd be okay in the interim, but I don't believe he has a desire to be the Prime Minister of Australia going forward. And I would certainly need some convincing to support that, I think, after a 3-month period. Bill, yeah, we're talking about the jobs here. No white male can get a job anymore unless you want to be a tradie. White men can't get hired. Once you're injured, you're treated like a leper. Yes, that is absolutely right. I have experienced similar things myself. Age shall not weary them, just make them unemployable. I think that's how that's working. Okay, what's happening in the NZ Loyal Party? Oh, yes, there is a large battle between the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. There is also a battle going on between the Rothschilds and the Rothschilds. If you know your Babylonian history and you know your Rothschild history, you will know that the Rothschilds split up and went to the 5 financial capitals of the world. France and England being, at the time, probably 2 of the main ones. So Paris and London were the 2 crowning jewels, I suppose, before New York became a big one in America for the Rothschilds. But the French and the the French and the English sides of the family had a falling out. They were all interbreeding, remember, okay? They've got to keep their blood together. So they were all interbreeding, and somewhere in the line they had a falling out. And it was a severe falling out. So to a point where businesses were severed, and while the same agenda was kept, they ostensibly worked very separately toward a similar goal, and had a bit of bitterness between them. I believe that's been going on for centuries. Now it's really coming to the fore. And this could be in part because one side, and I can't tell you which one because I don't know, apparently isn't as evil as the other side. So evil by degrees, I guess we'll find out. And as far as I'm concerned, hemp is still the cheapest form of execution. And we shouldn't be worrying about their little fight. We should be just worrying about how tall they are. Big changes coming on the way. Yes, I saw that. Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, I would agree. Lots of big change on the way if you are eyes open to see it. Some people are going to be in for a very big shock, I think. And some of us might have a wry smile on our face when that happens. Nepal removed their king. Now they're all over here claiming asylum because Nepal is now a vassal state of the Chinese Communist Party. Yes, that has happened. And Nepal, I beg your pardon, China are also having a bit of a ding at Mongolia at the moment too. I believe that they are having a bit of a clean out of a certain type of person or ethnic group in Mongolia. And Pakistan there is noise that Pakistan is making moves toward the Khyber Pass. That would be the Indian side of the border that they share. Now, you might recall there is, I don't know whether you'd call it wonderful, certainly amusing parade that they hold at a set of gates in the Himalayas that separate Pakistan and India. And it is a changing of the guard. And it is a very, very, very aggressive military changing of the guard dance that they conduct. Occasionally, they fire a few shells over the border into vacant mountains, and there's a bit of a kerfuffle. But word is that there might be some rumblings on the border with India and Pakistan as well. Don't know why that would necessarily be the case. Modi is very much in bed with the Russians, with BRICS and the gold-backed financial system. Pakistan, I believe, were on board with that as well. And Pakistan was certainly, I think, pretty well cleaned up intelligence-wise and some time ago. So why they would be trying to kickstart a war with India right now is anybody's business. But as we both know, they all have nuclear weapons, supposedly. Yeah, Samantha, okay. Offer them something they can't refuse. To do that, there needs to be a mass exodus from the current system. I'm assuming, Samantha, we're talking about ideas for how we, the people, get to reject the system or the current bunch of knobs that are in it. And I'm all for throwing every current politician and every current bureaucrat out of the job. I don't know if I'm being a fantasist or not when I say there is a movie called Dave. Kevin Kline stars as Dave, who's just this average Joe accountant who lives out in middle America, but just happens to be a dead ringer lookalike for the president of the United States of America. And when the president gets caught dead after cheating on his wife and having a heart attack with his mistress, Dave is rolled in to take his place. Now, Dave is only meant to nod his head and do what he's told to say and do by the presidential staff advisor or chief of staff at the White House. But Dave comes to realize that, he could do things better, and he's an accountant, or he knows an accountant who's a very good accountant, and gets him in to try and help balance the budget. What would happen if we actually put people who ran businesses successfully, like you know how to run a budget, you know how to do a budget. All right. I'm not saying Australia's budget is small, but it's a budget. You don't want to put me in charge of the budget, but if you're good with numbers and budgets, then why couldn't we put you and people like you? And we give you the budget for 2 years. And in that 2 years, we're looking for more people who are interested in working with the budget, so that we can replace you in 2 years after that service, because we don't want you having to work on the budget for the rest of your life. We want you to go out and enjoy your life. But we need your help. And not just on the budget, in so many other areas. So I think we can do this. We just need an idea. And I think we can have a very good idea. Hopefully, in the days and weeks ahead, I might be able to share a few of those ideas, some from you, some from others. But to take a leaf out of my good friend Dave Guru Graham's book, we need to sack the lot. Sack the lot. And start again. And if that means we redraw how our representative system works, then we can do that too. We're adults. We can have conversations where we don't have to hate each other at the end of it. If you are a person, an adult, who can't have a conversation with somebody who has a different point of view to you and still respect them at the end of it, then you've probably got a bit of growing to do. In here. You may be not quite yet vibrating at a level of understanding and not showing signs of desiring to vibrate any higher. We would like to encourage you to vibrate a bit higher. And that is in part what my place is all about, because it gets like-minded people together and we all vibrate. It's very cool. Thank you, folks, for hitting the like button. I see it's being put up in the chat there occasionally. Yeah, please do. And if there is a subscribe button on the channel that you happen to be watching, hit that one too, if you would, please. I think they've taken it down on the Nun2K channel. It's the only one that I think you can subscribe to. But please give it a go. If it is there, please give us a go. Thumbs up. We are very, very suppressed on this channel. YouTube send me a message every day to say, oh, you've lost one follower today, or you've gained one follower today. I don't get too many gained followers, but I do see a very slow one a day kind of decline at the moment. I think they're just trying to whip me down. But look, if you can stick a thumbs up on the channel, and if there is a subscribe button, would love you to be part of it. Why don't you go and check out vofhq.com too? That's the website. There's going to be a lot more going on that, and we are in the background at the moment working on the radio station. And I'd like to thank my well, I won't name him just yet. He may not want me to name him. I'm going to thank my very good radio mate for working in the background on this for us. He's doing some excellent work, and he's really waiting on me to send him some details on page names and what we want to put up there, so that we can kick it in the guts and really get it going. I also have to go and put a lot of tags on songs so that we can figure out what to play, when to play, and how to play it. Now, just on that, I'm struggling a little bit with the fact that we are going to be playing music that's clearly being produced by people who've signed contracts with organizations and entities that we do not support. Artists like Pink Floyd, Queen. So I've struggled in recent days. Do I play that sort of music? At what point did the music industry really change? Can I get away with playing 60s music? I was speaking yesterday with Tim Dwyer. If you watch one of the videos, you'll see when we talk about the radio station, he said, will you be playing Creedence? And I said, yes, I'll be playing Creedence. Creedence was the fighting music of the Vietnam War, both for the people and for the blokes in the jungle. But were they part of all that? The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, the Who? Name a band, any band that sold a lot of music. AC/DC. Can I play it? Do you want me to play it? I won't be playing John Farnham, Samantha. I think we can probably agree that won't happen. But I got to thinking about it a little bit today, and I thought, well, pardon me, maybe we do play it. And then maybe what we do is look at the lyrics, see what the lyrics really say. Because how many of us really, even though we can sing along with them, really listen to what they're saying? Because many of these songs that we love are quite dark and are telling us what they're doing. I was listening to one the other day that's saying, it sounds like a beautiful, beautiful love song, but it is in fact saying, one day we're going to have to tell them all our sins and show them who we really are. Now, that could mean something else, I suppose, but given the artist it came from and all that, then, yeah, bit concerning. So where do we sit with all of that? You know, I'm going to be promoting music and having to pay for that, that for artists that have given us a lot of enjoyment. A lot of enjoyment. I love music. I love singing. I love all that. And yet, these bastards are doing horrible shit to us. And they're praying to their Morlock master, swallowing our children's blood, making sacrifices, doing God knows what else. So I'm a bit torn at the moment over all of that. I mean, we're going to have to do something. Megadeth, Dave. Yeah. All right. Megadeth have been waking metalheads up for ages, David. All right. I was only watching a Megadeth track the other day, Ace of Spades. So, yeah, hadn't seen him in a while. And what was that on? It was on it was actually a Young Ones clip. Remember the Young Ones? Megadeth were, on that. Bloody weird. Just having a bit of a glance down through your questions or statements, seeing if I've missed any questions. I do have... oh, no, I don't have. I thought I did. Hang on. Do I have something down here to show you? Oh, yes. All right. Here's the Alexa thing. I don't know. I told you to go and have a look, but have a look at this.
Alexa, when will World War III start?
World War III starts on November 23, 2023 at 6:05 p.m. when Russia launches an attack.
I saw, Sue, that you, or was it Sue or Sunflower, talking about some of the sacrifices that have been made over the Motorhead, not Megadeth. Yeah, thank you, whoever corrected me. Yeah. Well, see, there you go. I was never a big metalhead, although I did love Slade back in the 70s. I'm just trying to find your comment here, Sunflower. Bob Marley. There you go. Yeah. So Bob Marley was murdered by the CIA. Have we ever talked about that? In fact, the guy that killed Bob Marley admitted to it before he died, and there is an audio recording of him clearly stating it. He was also involved in a number of other celebrity deaths. I did post today on Facebook. If you're on my Facebook, I think I posted up a well, let's call it a confession from an ex-Man in Black, where he explains how the Men in Black system works and that there are hybrid aliens in amongst that. He actually, as well, that interview happened back in 1989 from memory, and the guy died a year later. But off the back of that, in the chat, there was some very interesting conversations about other hybrids that are in and working in our system currently and may be part of the freedom movement. One of the ones that was suggested as being I guess I'm going to say white hat. A white hat alien hybrid is Derek Johnson. Take that for what you will. I mean, the guy sings country music and wears a big hat. I've seen a lot stranger things. So, yeah, Derek Johnson, alien hybrid who's helping the humans realize who they are. That was the bit of news that I heard today. Rather interesting. So, yeah, look, thank you, David. Yeah, not Megadeth. That was Motorhead. Yeah, you're under it. I'm an idiot. I do apologize. Lyrics are a curse for the listener. Yes, you know where they get us singing those songs? Because they're spells. The more you sing them, the more you repeat them. Depressing songs, all that kind of thing. I Don't Like Mondays. There was a study done after I Don't Like Mondays was released by the Boomtown Rats in 1976, I want to say. So the study was put out sometime in the 80s or early 90s. And it was shown that there was an increase in suicide rate in a certain age group during the period that song was at, peaking in the charts. Arlo Guthrie. If anybody has never heard of Arlo Guthrie, go and do yourself a favor. Download it. I don't know where. I haven't heard it myself, and I'm going to go and download it when I finish this show now. Arlo Guthrie does a song called Alice's Restaurant, right? From memory, it runs just under 23 minutes. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant, except in Alice. Anyway, go and check out that. Arlo Guthrie was telling a lot of good stories back in the day. He was a wonderful folk music songwriter, and maybe told a bit of truth. Billy, what are you saying too? Warner Brothers have been demolishing their Southern California ranch studios. God knows what you would find under there. I couldn't begin to think. Yeah, Peter, Bad Moon Rising. There are so many good Creedence songs. In fact, I don't think there is a bad Creedence songs. We could put a bit of Prince into the radio station. Prince was into the truth. So too Michael Jackson, believe it or not. Elvis. Should I get Pastor Bob? Have you seen Pastor Bob singing? Sounds a lot like Elvis. Just saying. Yes, J1. They do that to some of us, but that's only after the anal probe doesn't work so well. They bring you back for further work. Thank you, Veronica. I've got a good voice. That's about the only thing I got going for me, Veronica, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And hopefully my voice helps yours. If you can stand up and use it, that's what it's all about. It's not hard. It's not hard. In fact, Susan today, I was quite surprised. She said, "Oh, you're a very brave man doing all this." And, look, one day they'll knock on the door. There's nothing much I can do about it. One day they'll knock on the door. But I have to do this because nobody else is. And how else are we going to unite? So I'll drive around. I'll park on your street. I'll sleep in your street. And if you want to come up and say hi and find out what I'm about, then I will welcome you with open arms. If you have an event that we can come and help you promote, then by all means, get in touch because we'd love to come. We can't just drive around the country aimlessly. It'd be nice to have some events to go to. And it's your events, not ones we're creating, because they're your communities. I want to share your communities with everybody else. And from that, we will make wider communities, wider contacts. Communication lines will open. New things, new developments, new relationships. And from that, good things can only come. So that's my goal. And I hope that's part of what you would enjoy to be part of with the Voice of Freedom journey. Speaking of the journey, I have had a few emails requesting directions on where I'm going next and can people come along? Well, the answer is yes. Where I'm going next, when I leave here, I'll be going to Victoria. And next Wednesday night, let me just find it. Next Wednesday night, going to be here. That's at Vic West, my place, at the Organics Community Outlet at Shed 4 or Lot Number 4, 21 Melton Valley Drive in Melton. Now, Madeline, Madeline, she's a bit of an inventor herself. We may have a discussion about the vagina spritz, but I'm not promising. Doris, another great one from Vic West. She and Madeline, great friends. Not sure that she's a co-inventor. Maybe tester, I'm not sure. But at any rate, the girls have a great love of cooking, and they promised to feed me because, as I think the message that Madeline said is, we're good wogs. We love a good feed. So my memories of the good wogs in Melbourne is that you always get a good feed, and I can't wait to be there next Wednesday night. So look forward to seeing you there. If you can get to Vic West, then that'll be it from 6 p.m. next Wednesday night. Don't know what sort of a show we'll do. I might be too full by then, but no doubt I will do something of a show, and we'll have a bit of a play. And then on the Friday night, if you're down south in Melbourne, then I'll be in Frankston for Darren Bergworth's second My Place anniversary, if you like, and it's a huge one. They've got 4 bands. There's food trucks and barbecues and fates and stands and all sorts of stuff happening. So make sure that if you are in the southern parts of Melbourne and you want to come along to a pretty big night, then Friday the 27th for My Place in Frankston is a date to set. After that, well, things are up in the air. So if you're in Victoria and you may think, oh, well, I might want to go and do a week, come out on the road with Carl for a week. Well, I'm looking for enticements to stay around Victoria for 2 weeks until the 11th. It's a long time for me to just sit around in Victoria doing nothing for 2 weeks. So I'm going to need a reason to hang around. I do have other places I've said I would be, which are basically heading north, but I can put those off, but I need a reason. So if there are a bunch of people, like there seems to be, who want to go caravanning and come trekking around Victoria, well, I don't know. I thought maybe go to Phillip Island or up into the Grampians or somewhere into the hills or wherever. Let's get together. If you want to come away for a week or a few days, maybe you're only caravan campers. You're not up for camping on the side of the road. You're not set up to be off grid. Well, find a caravan park, find one that's not too cheap. As long as they've got a site that lets me on, I need about 12 or 13 meters, probably 2 sites. Then we can do something. I'm happy to hang around and meet a whole heap of new people. That's what this is all about. And we can do shows about that sort of area. So if you have a great business you want to promote, and maybe I can spend 2 weeks driving around Victoria promoting your businesses. All you need to do is get in contact, tell me what your business is, where it is, and what you'd like. I'd love to be part of it. So carl@vofhq.com, or if you can't remember that, email Rachel, who I'd better call because I haven't spoken to her since I left Brisbane. She must think I'm dead. Email Rachel@vofhq.com, and we'll put something together. Should there be no interest, I know that there is in Queensland quite a number of people who are ready to go for a holiday. So when I get back up there, I'll probably wind up having a week or 2 back in Brisbane, but then there are plans to go out west and see a few folks out west and potentially up north a little bit. We will be a little bit weather restricted. It could be fire, it could be rain, it could just be sweltering bloody heat. But one way or the other, the bus will not stop. We'll be down on the northern rivers. We'll head down into northern New South Wales, into the central west, so that anybody that wants to get their voice out can do that. Hope you can be part of the Voice of Freedom. We really want you to be part of it. And the radio station, as I say, not far away. Yes, the Moody Blues. That will be something that we can put on the radio. Elvis is not a pedo. No, I would agree with that. Yes, Terry, coming to North Queensland. But, mate, Billy, not silly, I'm not coming this time of year. I'll see you after Christmas. And if I'm honest, it's probably not going to be until April, but when it really starts to cool down. But I have made a promise to my good mate Rob and his wonderful family that we will be coming back to far north Queensland. There is Rhonda, who, God love her, has just been such a wonderful support to me. Rhonda's in Cooktown and feeds me a whole heap of information daily on not just what's going on in Cooktown, but, well, rarely what's going on in Cooktown now that I think about it. But she's dedicated to trawling the web for news, and I can't thank her enough for the stuff that she puts in. So I'm desperately keen to go up there and meet her and her son Bradley, who's not in Cooktown, but I will call in and see on the way past, because I don't know, he might know a bit about drilling and might know how to find gold in certain places. And Rob, my good mate with the gold mine up there, might require a drill to find some more gold. So we might be able to come up with a deal. Are you into gold mining, folks? Would you like to come on a gold mine? Would you like to come and take some of the gold away from the gold mine? You'd have to work for it. Would you like that opportunity? Dig your own gold. We could give that to you if you can. There are a couple of opportunities available up in the Palmer River. And if the people want it, we could nearly make that happen. So if that's something you're interested in doing too, then get in touch, carl@vofhq.com, and I'll put you in the database. We're probably not going to start talking too much about it until December, January, February, March, all that time where you can't actually get into the Palmer River. But you'll want to be ready for when you can if you're serious about it. And you will need to know a bit about off-grid camping, just between you, me, and the gatepost. Zippy. Oh, God. That is so nice. Thank you, Zippy. I'm at a loss to understand why. But thank you. I'm glad if my talking helps you. I'm glad if my talking gives you support, aid, assistance, whatever. That means so much to me. Most of the time I just get told I'm full of shit and get told to shut up. So it's really nice to hear something different. Anyway, folks, I've got to go because I'm meant to be going out for dinner tonight with some friends, and I'm not quite sure that it's going to happen. So it won't happen while I'm sitting here talking to you. Tomorrow, back into Adelaide. If you see me driving around, don't hit me. All right? Keep the dickheads well away. But if you see me pulled up somewhere, come over, say hi. Nobody bites here. It's all very friendly. And if Sunday you have nothing better to do in Adelaide, then why don't you come and have a bit of a look at my place? There's going to be a whole heap of us gathered for a bit of a chat and a bit of a family fun day at Collins Reserve in Kidman Park. So look forward to seeing you there. Darren Bergworth will be there, and the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Tim Dwyer and our good mate Vince. So this is a little bit of a look at the install. I've had some people who've sent me text messages saying, show the install, show the install. So that unit you can see they're working on there is actually the hydrogen unit. And that's Tim sort of plumbing it down through the floor. They're running the gas hose, if you like, there out of that top cylinder and then down under the floor and then back up into the engine intake. And as you can see, there's a bit of running around. There's the slide out doing what it does. Down here, hooking up, this is where we discovered we had one or two issues. This vehicle has 3 batteries, 2 house batteries and 1 for the vehicle itself. Tim's unit is designed to trigger at a certain amount of volts, and it will work when your battery hits 13.4 volts, I think, and it automatically turns off when it hits about 12.3, which it will do after you turn your car off. This vehicle is working a little bit differently in that the way that it's wired, the solar is continually charging, we think, the house batteries, and the inverter is charging the truck battery the whole time through the solar. So that meant that we thought we were going to need to put in a switch. And there is a need for a switch because if you forget to turn the hydrogen maker off, then walk away for a number of hours and come back, you'll have an experience like Tim had once where he said, oh, I'll never forget to turn it off, and forgot to turn it off and blew the plenum through the bonnet of the car and blew the tops out of all 6 pistons. So you can get a bit of a look there at the sort of work that was involved in fitting it. It was pretty simple to fit. It was just a bit of a bugger. We had to jump around and figure out a relay issue because trusting me to flick that switch off when I turn the ignition key off and walk away for 12 hours or whatever, Vince didn't feel comfortable that I was going to remember. He has no trust in me, none, and probably rightly so. So now we have a relay in there. It turns off when the ignition turns off, as it would in your car normally if you're not running a solar off-grid system like this thing is. So if you are interested in the hydrogen system, go and check it out, h2fuelsave.com. And if you're interested in getting a price on us to get it installed on your vehicle, then please email Tim directly at h2@vofhq.com. He's doing a deal for Voice of Freedom followers, and it's a bloody great deal. So you won't pay $4,000. And remember, of course, folks, that this system is 100% transportable. It will be able to go with you from this vehicle to your next vehicle, and from that vehicle to the vehicle that you have after that, provided, of course, that you don't have a nasty coming together with one of those dickheads on the road.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?